Before the world sees your wins, your soul has to feel your work. It's the reps nobody applauds that produce the wins that do, all through a shifting of your identity into a dominator. This is all done in the dark every single day. So let me be your guide as I welcome you to this episode of the Dark Work Daily. Great day, my Dominator. We're going to get after today. I want to have a conversation with you about the invisible reps, the ones that are invisible to everybody else but you. Now, this whole idea of dark work is it's a concept that came to me after life had been lived. You know, it was this thought when I go back on my days, and I talk often about this, where I was actually back at 15 years old, and I was in a situation. I'd played 2 years of football, bad at the game, hadn't really figured out who I'm supposed to be. My mom got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, so it's this navigation of my family having a focus on mom being sick. I'm the only, athlete in the family, so no one's really supporting my sports stuff. They're not against it, but no one's like out there cheering for games. You know, I'm doing football. I tried my hand at basketball. I tried, I think at the end it was track, and I wasn't good at any of these things. I was kind of okay, but not real good. And I remember having this situation where I'd kind of checked out. I realized that, the focus on mom, I'm not from a family where academics was important in any way. Like, we just honestly went to school. I think out of all my siblings, this is not a knock on anybody, but I'm the only one that graduated with a diploma. I'm the foster kid, the one foster kid of six of us, and I got the diploma. Everybody else had GEDs, continuation. My brother went to the military, which is awesome. So we've got education. My sister just graduated nursing school, so I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm the one who focused on that. And I wouldn't even say it was all me. My current wife, which is a weird way to say that, my wife is actually the one who was big on helping me navigate the idea of how to study. Very intelligent. I've always had a brain, but I haven't always had structure to be able to hone in my intelligence and weaponize it the way I can now. But if I go back in those days, there was this window of time where I wanted to be great at football, but I had no pathway. I wasn't good. I had nobody that could show me how to get good at it. And I realized that there was this moment where these two girls had said a statement. And I talk about it often on stage. And when I'm speaking, I say, these two girls are talking, and one girl says to the other one, a statement that is a gift. It has been a gift to me ever since. And the statement was simply, the reason I'm so bad is because I'm in foster care. And now, at face value, it's a statement. Nothing crazy. But what it was is a gift. I got to hear out loud an internal excuse I'd been using for years to play small. I blamed all my life and my difficulty on foster care, something I had no control over. I was given away into the system and didn't treat me well. And I was being wired without knowing it to believe I didn't have worth in the world. And oftentimes all of us have these conversations in our own head, and something happens and we start telling ourselves we're not deserving of something. Like, I didn't believe I deserved love and appreciation because my biological mom, didn't give it to me. Didn't believe I'd space, so I could hold space and center myself in this world. I didn't feel like I mattered. And what's crazy is I had this thought, but I didn't know what to do to fix it. And at one point in time, I got pissed. The pissed off solved it. Here's how it solved it. I heard that statement. I got pissed, went home and made a commitment to myself, looked myself dead in the pupils in a mirror. And I said, Anthony, you're going to be great. And I actually did this. This isn't me making this up for a story. I remember doing this in my room in high school, just looking at myself in a mirror, making this interesting connection to myself at a point I'd never done before. I never said these words the way I've said these words at this one moment in time. And if you'd have walked in, it would have been odd to see, but this was like a deeper pupil personal connection. And it led me to going, well, what do I want to be great at? I didn't know what great meant or how to be great, but I knew other people had been there. So I watched and studied people, figured out what they did and how they did it. And the more I noticed, the more I saw, the more I realized, what it is? Like, there's certain things they're doing that I hadn't done, but I didn't feel like the person that did that. And so I was faced with these execution of actions that weren't my normalcy. I'd look stupid to other people and to myself for a while, but I knew that I had to get good at this to get the goal I wanted. And what I realized is like, the reps nobody sees, the unsexy, the invisible work, like those early mornings, those long practice sessions, those drafts that nobody reads of something, right? These are the reps you have to take that create the internal proof that dominators draw from when they step into the light later on. All of them. In any walk of life you're in, it's the stuff that nobody sees. It's the invisible reps that are never invisible to you. And for me, with the invisible reps, where we're lifting weights, I go to the weight room, had no clue what I was doing, but I'd lift weights every single day. Sore, beat up, tired, probably could have hurt myself, to be honest. I would go and I would throw a football in the air from my back into our vaulted ceiling. I would throw 500 reps a day. I would catch that ball 500 times. There was no way I was not going to be able to catch a football. I was hungry for it. I'd go run routes having no idea what I'm doing. I'd go do speed work having no idea what I'm doing. But I'm like, well, this is better than nothing. And I'm going to tell you the truth. You fast forward a good 6-7 months, I was different inside. Not so much outside. I wasn't much bigger. I wasn't crazy faster. I wasn't crazy strong, but I'll tell you what I was. I was tapping into every bit of my potential. I had a hunger to win every rep, every single ball in the air. I'm going to get that ball. I'm going to make that tackle. There was a dog in me that had been fed every day. There was no way I was going to walk out here and have you take from me something that I deserved. It was a mentality of I've done too much work in the dark to lose in the light. It's guttural. It was an ownership. It was a piece of me. It was my soul at this moment. And so everything I did have got used fully, and I started balling. I was out there making plays and catching balls and tackling dudes and just getting hype. I was having a blast out here. And the truth is, like, this was the thing that I needed to do to create opposite proof internally of who I was. See, all of us have moments in time we walk through life and something happens and it's a downhill slide, and we have proof of what we can't do now. And we believe that that proof is showing us who we are. It's not who you are. It's who you've been to now. And that can always change. If you do the invisible work, the ones that nobody sees, why I call it dark work. It's behind the scenes. It's in the dark. Nobody sees it. Now, you could do dark work as a team, right? But the world at large is not watching what you're doing. That's why they always say champions are not built in the light. They're simply seen there. Yeah, you see them on the podiums when they win. You know, the race, they cross the finish line in first place, win the game. You see all the outcomes. You don't see the work. No one does. And even if you do see the work at practice, right, there's still work behind the scenes. They're what they eat, how they sleep, how they train, how they prep, the film they watch. Like, these are all things that are going on. But because that work's being done, it produces a different outcome. It changes the way someone shows up. And I don't care where you're at in life, that is the path to what you want most. So why I talk about today is like the idea that repetition done without an audience builds a different kind of confidence. When it's just you behind the scenes relying upon you, you will walk into anything, not because you think there's no problems you're facing, but because you know you bring you to those problems. So my message to you, my thought to you is simply to start leaning into the invisible stuff with tenacity, with a monstrous sense of purpose for this. Because at the end of the day, those who do the work, not only do they get the achievement they're looking for, they get the confidence required to make them successful. So go do the invisible reps. So when you are visible, you're undeniable. If this episode stirred something in you, good. That means there's work to be done. Don't ignore it, because listening is just the beginning. Because real change happens when you engage and you commit. So I invite you to join the Dark Work community inside the Dark Work app, which is where you communicate with amazing people on the same journey as you. You can find them on the App Store and the Google Play Store right now. Step into the conversations that sharpen your habits, strengthen your identity, and keep you locked in to the dark work.